Jury's heard evidence from a man who says he was such good friends with a Sussex vicar that he felt like family, until the clergyman indecently assaulted him.
Vickery House from Hand Cross near Crawley denies a string of sexual offences against young men and teenage boys in the 1970s and 80s. Sarah Smith reports from the Old Bailey.
It was after several years of friendship that Vickery House is accused of indecently assaulting his second alleged victim. The man, then in his early 20s, would regularly visit the vicar and his wife at home. But one evening, after his wife had gone to bed, Vickery House placed his hand in his guest's lap. More than 30 years later, the man told police in an interview, "I froze. I was so shocked I didn't know what to do. It probably lasted just a few moments, but it seemed like a long time." He tried to forget about it, but several years later, the same thing happened. He said, "I took his hand and moved it, and said something like, 'Don't do that.' As he headed to bed, Vickery House stood in his path. He said, 'I want you,' and I told him, no, that wasn't going to happen." The young man moved away from Sussex, leaving the country altogether some months later. Vickery House doesn't dispute that some of these events took place, but he does deny that they amount to indecent assault. All of his victims did have some connection with the Church of England, though, and the prosecution says he used his authority within the church to make unwanted sexual advances. The jury will hear evidence from 6 men and teenagers who say he assaulted them over a 16-year period. He denies all the charges. Sarah Smith, BBC South East Today, the Old Bailey.